Good morning, everybody. J.R. Fisher here. I want to welcome you to this beautiful Friday. It's cloudy in San Diego, and James, I'm going to beat you to it. It is going to be 70 degrees here today. I don't know what's going on in Savannah, Georgia. I should have looked that up. I could have been prepared, right? But welcome, everybody. Hey, I do these live trainings every day to help you start, run, and grow your online business, and that's why I'm here today. I do have a subject I want to talk about today, and it really has to do with ethics in business. However, if you have any questions about starting, running, and growing your online business, please put them in that chat section there. Let's see here. Paul says, finally sunny and 70 here in Hot Springs. Hope everyone is having a great day. Thank you so much, Paul. Thanks for your contribution there. And 70 here is cold, Paul. We're cloudy and 70, and we're like, oh my God, it's cold. Because we're at San Diego, we're a little bit spoiled. But today's subject is pretty interesting. And it is about how cheaters don't win in business. Let's see here. I'm getting some of your things are redacted here, Paul. I'm trying to fix it. Subscribe and ring the bell. Yes, I forgot about that. If you would do me a favor, subscribe below, hit that big subscribe button. If it's red, it's a warning to you. It's saying, hey, hit the subscribe button. And thanks, James, for letting me know it's loud and clear there. I don't know what your temperature is, though. I can't move forward until I know what the weather is in Savannah. It's like a fix for me now. So you've got to put that in there. That's super important. Yeah, so subscribe, ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live. I can move that over a little bit, give my elbow a little bit more room so I don't knock these things down. These are my Easter eggs. We'll talk about that at another point in the future. But today I am going to be talking about why cheating in business never works. Never, ever, never works. And there's some extensions to that too. And I also want to give you a story in the beginning about somebody I know who was cheating in business and what happened in their situation. So first off, let's define what winning is, why cheaters don't win. Winning is feeling good about yourself and doing the right thing. Okay, so some of you may have thought, James Breen says, I. Okay. It's 72, it's sunny in Savannah, now I can move on. Yeah, I already hit the like button. Don't forget to hit the like button, guys. I would really appreciate that. But what is winning? Winning is really knowing you're doing the right thing. Okay, and so that wipes out all of that. Well, he won because he made a lot of money, or he won because he got a promotion, or he won because he ripped off all of his customers. It wipes out all of that because now we're talking in a different realm. So I want to get your head straight. This is why cheaters can't win, because they aren't doing the right thing. You automatically lose that way. Now, on the outside, you may look at somebody who's cheating in business and say, wow, they really, really made a lot of money. So cheating does pay off. But you see, the payoff you're looking at is money. And it may come in another form of their life that things don't work out. So I do want to share a story with you. Many years ago, in the late 80s, I managed a dealership, automotive dealership in National City, California. Down the street from me was another dealership, and I won't say what the brand is because I'll be labeling who this person is. But you know, they ran a car dealership too, and we had two different brands. They were both new car brands, and I needed to buy cars for my dealership. As a matter of fact, I was buying probably anywhere from 500 cars to 800 cars a month for my dealership. Now I had to go to auctions. I had to buy them off the street. I had to buy them from wholesalers. A lot of wholesalers would come around, and they would sell me cars because I needed used cars. And so I would be buying these cars. So I started trying to buy cars, and I was having a really hard time with the wholesalers because it seemed that down the street they were selling most of the used cars to this one brand dealer. And understand, Mile Cars, there was a ton of brands there, but this one dealer seemed to be buying all of them. And it was kind of unusual because he would pay more for these cars than anybody else would. So let me give you an example of how it works as a used car manager works. This individual was a used car manager. Let's see here. James says, sometimes I have a problem getting on your live stream. When I do a search, I always get J.R. Fisher Funeral Home, Norfolk, Virginia. What's a lose? I don't know, but I can tell you I was born in Norfolk, Virginia. I hope that's not going to be my funeral home. I don't think it will be. Hopefully not. But anyhow, so this guy down the street, he's a used car manager, and he's buying up all the cars, and he's paying more than everybody else is. So that's weird. But let me explain to you how it works at a car dealership. Let's say, and I'm just going to use this for a round example, he is buying a car for $10,000, and they know they can sell this car for $12,500. Okay, so they can sell the car for $12,500. So the going market for this car is $10,000 on the wholesale market. The retail market is $12,500. He was paying $11,000 for these cars that everybody else wouldn't have paid $10,000 for. Why is that going on? Why is that going on? And here's why. Because the wholesalers, the edgy wholesalers, were giving him $500 back on the side cash. It's called cake in the car business. It's called cake. So think about this. He's paying $11,000 for the car, which is basically the car dealership is paying $11,000 for the car because it's not out of his pocket. He's spending the owner's money. He can still sell these cars for $12,500 because that's what they're worth. He gets $500 in his pocket. The wholesaler gets $1,000 more for the car, but they got to give up $500 of it and give it to him on the side. So still, they sell the car for $500 more than what it's worth. Now who gets hurt in the scenario? Well, I think everybody does, but the biggest loser financially is the car dealership, because whereas they would have a $2,500 profit on these cars, they only have a $1,500 profit on these cars. Now, could they do more volume? Maybe, maybe not. They're still selling in the same market we are, so that car is going to have the same value. The only person that's actually, or there's two people here that are actually taking money out of the dealer's pocket. It's the wholesaler, and it's the crooked used car manager, and it's a crooked wholesaler too, because they know what they're doing too. Now, if they're giving cash to this used car manager, then there's no way to trace it. How are you going to say that he didn't think that car was worth $11,000? Because I understand values of cars fluctuate so much, and you could get my opinion and 10 other used car managers' opinions, and they would all be a little bit different. They'd all be a little bit different, but on average, we're pretty close. So he did this over and over and over, hundreds of times a month, and you just figure, let's say 200 times 500. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Okay. And then if he did this for years and years, which he did do this for years. We all knew he was doing it. We all knew he was doing it. But what we started doing is shutting out some of the wholesalers that were selling him cars. And the way we shut them out is we quit selling them cars, because it's a big circle. Wholesalers would come in and they would buy our trade-ins, and then they would take it to another car dealership and sell it there because they knew, what cars would fit it right, different dealerships. So we started shutting out these wholesalers, the other dealers in town. We all knew what this one guy was doing. And it looked like he won. James Breen says, wouldn't that be illegal? It is illegal. It's really embezzling. However, it's hard to prove. It goes on to this day at car dealerships all around the country. Used car managers are the most susceptible to this because I don't know who starts it, but usually, crooked wholesalers will say, hey, I'll give you a couple $100 more if you buy my car for $500 more, so they're getting more than what they're having to give the used car manager. The person that gets hurt is the car dealership. The car dealership's profits go down. However, they're still making a profit, so some of them don't notice it, which is what happens in more cases than not. Now, it looked like he won. He had a big house. He had nice cars. He had a family with a couple kids. He had a boat. He had a swimming pool. He had all the trappings. And on the outside, you would say, he won. JR, he won. He took all this money. There was nothing anybody could do anything about it. And I guess you could set him up, do something like that. But years later, one of his kids got really deathly ill, and I won't get into the details, but something happened to one of his kids. Now, why did that happen? I don't know. Maybe it just happened, or maybe it was an offshoot of what he was doing. I don't know. I can't tell you. I can just tell you that doesn't look like a winning situation to me. A winning situation is when you can walk away from something and you really feel good about it. Okay? That is one of many examples that are out there every single day. Now, you say, well, JR, I know somebody who stole for years and their kid didn't get sick. Okay, but maybe something else happened in their life you can't even see. Maybe they're tortured inside. There's I can't put my thumb on it, but I'm telling you it equals out. That's why I think this ethics thing is so very important. And I want to talk to you about how it affected our survival food company, because it did in 2020. As a matter of fact, in February of 2020, we had to increase our prices. Now, we hadn't done it yet, but we knew we had to increase our prices because we hadn't done it 5 years. It's been a long time and our costs have been going up, but we had never been passing that on. So I want to get into that story with you in just a second. But working in business ethically is more important than making money. Now, you've got to make money to stay in business, but you've also got to be ethical. And you not only have to be ethical, you have to set up an ethical obligation of everybody who works for you. I ask a lot of personal questions when I hire people for our company about different situations and what they would do because I want to know how they would react to a situation. It tells me their morals. It tells me if I'm going to be able to trust them or not. It tells me if I'm going to have a winner or a loser in my company. And a winner is not always the person that produces the most amount of money or does the most amount of work. It's a good person. Now let's look at Wells Fargo, what Wells Fargo did. Wells Fargo was making a lot of money, right? But they took advantage of their customers in a way that was so blatant, okay, that you can hardly believe that they actually tried to do it. So one of the largest and most established banks in the nation instructed its agents to do whatever it takes to meet its newly mandated sales quotas. And sales quotas are accounts and fees on accounts. That's how banks make money. So they obeyed, their workers obeyed, and they opened new accounts under customers' names without permission of the customer. They would just open random accounts. And then what they would do with these accounts is they would charge them fees on these accounts. Matter of fact, one customer discovered new accounts in his name that he never opened. He complained repeatedly and demanded that they remove the fees associated with the unsanctioned account. They promised to rectify the problem, but continued to charge him for 10 bank accounts, and he only opened one. Now they charged him for 2 years, extra fees for 2 years. Now this seems kind of extreme, but they did this over and over again with many customers so they could make more money. That's a real trust issue, guys. I don't think I would do any accounts with Wells Fargo. I just wouldn't do it. Let me see here what you guys got to say. I think ultimately you have to look yourself in the mirror and keep a high moral standard. I can't believe the people at Wells Fargo didn't go to jail. Well, because it's a big company, it's hard to pin it on one individual, and they don't mind paying fines. That's how our government works. Our government works by trying to extract fines. They don't make money by putting people in jail. They make money by charging fines. And if they make a deal to pay fines, nobody goes to jail. That's how that stuff works, guys. So if you got money, you don't go to jail in most cases. I'm watching a series now called Bosch, and you can watch the legal system work in that. You can kind of see what I'm saying. So here's what I want you to do. And then I'm going to tell you about the pricing on Survivalcave food and what we chose to do. You got to check yourself. Ask yourself these questions. Number one, would you buy what you're selling? Okay. In other words, would I buy what I'm selling? Would I buy it? Is it a product that I would buy? Now, you know, they say that you should never give someone a book that you've never read or recommended anything you haven't tried. And I stick with that. I really do. Even if your business isn't selling the top grade, you should still hold your product or service to a reasonable standard. Okay, even if you don't have the best product in the world, and not every company has the best product. I'm not saying you should go out of business if you don't have the best product in the market. I'm saying, would you buy what you're selling? You got to ask yourself that question. Is it a good service? Is it a good product? Does it have quality? Some quality. It can't be total junk. It just can't be total junk unless they aren't paying anything for it, right? Let me get another sip here. Number two, is the cost reasonable? Now, we struggled with this in February because in March, that illness struck the world. Our demand went through the roof. And I'm going to tell you what we did in just a second. Now, whether your customers are paying the price or not, that's not the litmus test. That's not the way to determine if the cost is reasonable. Because in the beginning of the illness, I could have charged 4 times, literally 4 times the price for a product. I could have been extremely wealthy in 2020. Now, we still did good business, but I mean, I could have been really wealthy. I saw some of my competitors do it. And customers were saying things like, oh, we'll pay whatever to get it, because we had a limited supply. We were running out. As a matter of fact, at one point for 2 months, I had nothing to sell. I had to quit selling. I had nothing. I couldn't get any supplies. The processing plants that process meats were shutting down, and whatever I had was really a premium product. But is the cost reasonable? Just because they seem okay with it, just because they say, okay, price doesn't matter, I just want to get this product. And we saw that, didn't we? We saw that during the illness. You could argue that it's buyer beware. If they're going to pay it, then it's their own fault. No, that's not the case. The only question is whether or not you are comfortable knowing that you're overcharging them. Are you comfortable doing that? Now, we needed to increase our prices, and I told you that. We needed to increase our prices. However, I was in a really weird position, because if I increased my prices so much as $1 during the illness, I was going to look like somebody who was trying to overcharge people, even though I needed to. So I chose at the beginning of the illness to keep my prices the same. Even though I had planned in advance to increase the prices, I did not increase the prices. I sold out of everything I had. I had nothing to sell. I had no income. And I'm not complaining, because I mean, we sold a lot of stuff and I made some money, don't get me wrong. But I didn't increase the price. My main concern was to get it out to people at a reasonable price. And I still needed to increase my price, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't do it then. It put me in a really weird position. I just couldn't do it. Let's see here. I got some comments here. James says, I've had accounts and mortgage with Wells Fargo for quite a few years and had excellent relationship with my branch manager. Awesome. And that's great. And I'm sure a lot of people did, but it's the people that got ripped off we're talking about here. They got ripped off pretty bad. So I kept my prices the same, and I ran out of product. I could have gotten more, but I ran out of product. I personally couldn't affiliate market anything I didn't buy and try. Price gouging is the ultimate greed factor. Yes, it is. I could have gotten really wealthy, but I didn't. So the next thing you got to ask yourself, number 3, is how does your business really contribute to the community? What is it doing for the community? Now, my community was people who needed survival food, people who needed food because the grocery stores didn't have it. Being ethical involves more than just being honest with your customers. Small businesses already fuel the economy by just existing. I mean, they do. But you can always be more proactive. You can always get involved with the betterment of your community, which is good for building professional and consumer relationships anyhow. In the long run, you're going to thank yourself. Now, some of you are going to say, well, you're an idiot, JR. You should have charged a lot more money. You could have made so much money. You could have been set up for life. It's true. I could have done 4 years worth of business in one, as far as sales in dollars, not necessarily amount of product, because I ran out. But your customers will thank you. They'll thank you for taking care of them. Now, I took care of my customers pretty darn good during that period of time. Once we had a supply again, I did increase my prices, but it was a very small amount. Wasn't even noticeable. Nobody even said anything about it. But I needed to, because labels went up and cans went up and products went up, and I hadn't increased my prices in 5 years. But it was a small amount. And to this day, we have a good name in the community. People are happy with what we've done. People got their product. People are happy with it. It's funny. You can't make everybody happy though. You can't make everybody happy. I wanted to share a story with you. I got an email from a lady, and she had spent $1,011, and she called because she was furious. She said, I'm furious. You emailed me and you promised you wouldn't email me. Now, first off, we are an online seller of products. The only way we sell products is to email people. That's it. I mean, that's the only way I can do it, unless you just come to my site and buy something. We email you. So she said she wanted to cancel her account because we were sending her spam email. And what she was, I guess, considering spam email was some of our sales email where, she could get products at a discounted price, and we would send her discount codes. Now, here's the interesting thing about this woman. She also said if the product showed up at her door, she would refuse it because we broke her trust by sending her an email. One of the emails we sent this woman had a $100 discount code in it. She used that code to place her order. So she took advantage of this $100 discount to place her order and then complained that we sent her emails about sales. Now, the reason I share this with you is because you can't please everybody. I don't care how hard you try, you cannot please everybody. I was going to call her, and I started to call her to talk to her, and then I thought, do I want to talk to this person? Do I even want this person as a customer? Because as a business, we have a choice of who we want to sell to. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, no, I don't even want to sell to her. I don't want her money. I instructed my office to give her a refund, remove her from our list, and never email her again. Because you can't explain certain things to people. So the moral of this story is you can do everything right, and it still isn't going to work out right for you. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do everything right. It doesn't mean that at all. I have a lot of people say, well, I did all these right things, and I still got ripped off. These things happened. Screw it. I'm just going to do whatever. No, because you're still doing the wrong thing. If you want to win, you can't cheat. That's the moral of this whole training today. If you want to win, you can't cheat, and you need to redefine what winning is, because winning to me is just doing the right thing no matter what the outcome is. How about that? Doing the right thing no matter what the outcome is, because you can always justify doing the wrong thing. It's easy to do. I could work up an argument with you. I'm pretty good at English language. I could come up with an argument for doing the wrong thing. Yeah, justify it, but it's still the wrong thing. Because I can explain to you why I did the wrong thing doesn't mean it's the right thing. It's doing the right thing when the outcome is not good. You still do the right thing. Some of you will get that. Some of you will not get that. If you have a story about that or something that you've done or you've come across, put that in the chat section there. I'd love to see it. It says Wells Fargo then fired the frontline workers who were told what to do. Yeah, and that normally does happen. That normally does happen. I couldn't, let's see what he says here. Paul, let's see here. I personally couldn't affiliate, okay, yeah, I already read that one. I couldn't do business with Wells Fargo or Ford. When Ford moved their production to Mexico during wage negotiations, right, was an ultimate betrayal of employees. Wells Fargo gave $20 million in bonuses to these people who did this. Yeah, hey, all the investment bankers received $1 million plus bonuses after the bank bailouts in 2009. They did. And you know what? By looking at those unjust situations, it's very easy for us to justify doing unjust things. But you can't do it. I was in the car business for many years, and that story I told you about the used car manager, I could have done that over and over again. I could have made millions and millions of dollars doing that. I worked in some very high volume dealerships. As a matter of fact, I managed the #1 Chrysler dealership in the state of California. We were #3 in the nation. Don't you think if I ripped off, that dealer for a couple $100 a car, he'd never notice it. But that's not the point. The point is you got to do the right thing. The point is you got to be ethical. Cheaters can't win. They can't. And there's so many stories. Who's the cyclist? The Livestrong guy? Lance somebody? I can't remember. But he was cheating all along. And it came back and bit him. Even if it hadn't come back and bit him, he had to live with the fact that he didn't earn anything. He cheated. Okay? Cheating does not mean you're winning just because you get good results. That's the flip side of this. If you cheat and get good results, that doesn't justify the cheating. It doesn't. If you do the right thing and get bad results, right? That doesn't justify you need to cheat. It doesn't work that way. You need to be a company. You need to run your company transparently to where people, feel good doing business with you. But keep in mind, like that lady I just told you about, just because you're doing the right thing doesn't mean everybody's going to be happy. It doesn't mean you change what you do. You just do the right thing, even if you don't always get good results. And we don't always get good results. So that's what I wanted to share with you today, guys. I thought it's really important. We've just come through the illness. And the illness gave a lot of people opportunities to cheat. Cheat the government, cheat taxes, cheat customers, just come up with inferior face masks. I mean, there were so many opportunities to cheat. But doing the right thing is the right thing. It's still the right thing. It doesn't change. The right thing never changes. Okay? It's like people say, well, this is the new truth. No, there is no new truth. There's only one truth. It's only one. Let's see. Hey, let's see here. I think this is a reflection of how you are brought up. That's why it's important to surround yourself with ethical people. You know, I would say yes. I didn't have the best parenting. I'm going to be totally honest about that. Matter of fact, I had really bad parenting. I was a runaway. I was arrested for drugs when I was like 11 or 12, something like that. Good, yeah, I started early. So I was not a good kid. It took me years to figure out the right things and how doing the right things don't always get you rewards. You don't get rewarded always for doing the right things. You do internally, but maybe not financially, maybe not on the outside world. You may not get that reward you want. If you're just going for rewards, then you'll do anything you can do. You'll do anything you can do. Now, I don't know how good you're going to feel about yourself. I guess if you're a psychopath or, you know, a narcissist, it won't matter. I'm neither of those two, so I can't do it. I worked for Hickory Motors, Bergenfeld, New Jersey. The company mantra was buyer beware. Wow. Not good. Not good. Not good. You know, I always told all of my salespeople, and I managed many dealerships over the years, you don't need to lie to make money in the car business. You don't need to. It's not necessary. There is no part at the sales process that you need to lie to anybody. As a matter of fact, when they see you're being totally honest and it's not always good news, they're going to trust you more. They're going to trust you more. There's no need to lie. It's not necessary. Okay? And if you do that in your business, I don't care if it's the car business or the restaurant business or whatever it is, and you're honest about stuff, even if it doesn't work out well, which I think it will more often than not. I really do. I think right now we have a huge trust in the market because of the fact that we treated people well. Next week I have a meeting with a manufacturer, and we're going to start up our freeze-dried food line again. And I think it's going to do really well. And I think it's going to do really well because we treated everybody good during this past year. We still treat people good. We do what we say, and we're going to continue to do that. And what I'm trying to get across to you guys, and your job is to make money online, sell stuff online, make money, but you can do it. You can do it and still do the right thing. You can do it and still do the right thing. So if you have any comments on that, guys, feel free to put it in that chat section, put it in the comment section. I know some of you are not listening live. Shame on you for not taking every single morning and showing up at 9 a.m. No, I'm just kidding, of course. You can't always do that. But if you're not listening live, guys, you can still put whatever your thoughts are in that comment section. I come back by, I answer those. You know, those of you who are on this call right now will probably attest to that. I try to answer each and every one of you. I sat down the other day and I think I did 60 or 80 comments. And I don't just say thanks, okay, stuff like that. I literally read what you say. And I'm going to respond to you, and I'm going to try to help you, no matter what it is. So, you know, feel free to put any questions, comments, suggestions you have in the comment section. If this is not live right now, in the live chat, you can put it in there. I got a couple minutes before I'm going to sign off, and I'll be happy to answer anything that's in there. But I feel good about what I do every day. Are you feeling good about what you're doing? Are you feeling good about how you treat people? And, you know, you can be ethical in your personal life, too. You don't have to just be ethical in business. It all spills over. It's really hard to do a bunch of unethical things all day long on your job or in your business and then come home and be a good person. It's really hard to separate those two. Pretty much one discipline will spill over into the next. It will. You know, I can pretty much guarantee you, if your house is a wreck, if you're a hoarder and you've got junk everywhere and you're trying to walk through it, that when I get to your office is probably not clean and neat and tidy. It probably isn't. These disciplines spill over. That's why it's important to do everything right. Everything counts. Every single thing you do in your life counts. How you drive your car, how courteous you are to other drivers counts when you're dealing with your children and trying to teach them ethics. Everything spills over. You've got to understand that. You've got to do everything right. Now, will you make mistakes? Of course, but it's the intent. It's the intent of trying to do things right that really matters. If you're trying to do the right thing all the time, you're going to feel better about yourself. Even if things don't work out, even if you're nice to that driver and they cut you off, they flip you off, they call you names, it's okay. Still do the right things. Don't change who you are because of somebody else's attitude, because somebody else is being mean to you, or because somebody else is benefiting doing the wrong things. That doesn't mean you have to. It doesn't mean you can still be you. You can still be true to you. Win-win for everyone is the best policy. Yes. Paul, you asked a question here. I was fortunate to have parents that when my brains fell to my butt, they gave me a boot there to get them up. Where's Friday's lunch today? Now that's always a surprise. I never tell where I'm going before I go. Today is a place that you may have been. It's a place you may have been. There's more than one of them. And I haven't been there. I haven't been there in years. And I was thinking about it last night. We wanted a variety, something different, so I decided on this place, and I'll share it with you in just a few hours. If you're my friend on Facebook, you'll see pictures that I'm going to post there. I understand a lot of people don't use Facebook now. I get it, but that is where I post because I have like 5,000 friends on Facebook, so I do that. Peace and blessings always, everyone. See y'all tomorrow. Thank you so much, James, for being here, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. It means so much to me. Let's see. It's easy to be ruined in business. Fast, given social media today, the average person knows 250 people, and on social media, unlimited. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And the bad thing is you can still do the right thing, and they can say bad things about you on social media. What are you going to do? Just keep doing the right thing. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Excuse me, today. Hope you got something out of it. I hope you can apply it. This channel is all about starting, running, and growing online businesses. I need 57 subscribers. Seriously, I need 57 subscribers to hit that 5,000 mark. That will be a nice goal for me. I'd love to do that this month. So 57 is not a big number. So guys, if you would share this with people who think this has some value, I would really appreciate that. If you would subscribe, if you haven't done so, if you're watching it right now, I would really appreciate that. If you would ring the bell, turn on all bell notifications so you're notified each and every time I go live or I upload a video, I would really appreciate that. When I get behind the steering wheel, my mission is to reach my destination without accident or incident. Well, I was more of an aggressive driver, and a number of years ago, I said that anybody who wants to get in front of me can. Anybody. Now, sometimes that's been really inconvenient because I would let a 90-year-old woman in front of me, and she would drive terribly. But my rule is I let everybody in. I let everybody in. If there's two people trying to get a parking place, I always offer it to the other person 100% of the time. It has lowered my anxiety driving dramatically. What I do if somebody drives rude, they cut me off, they flip me off, they say something to me, whatever, I automatically assume that something bad's going on in their life. I automatically, and instead of getting mad at them, I try to give them some empathy. I'm like, man, they must really be having a bad day. Things are going wrong for them. Let me be kind to them. Hard to do, guys. This stuff's hard. I mean, it sounds really cool, but it's hard to do. Try it. Try it. See what you can do. What's the next step after 5,000? I think we got to go to 10,000, don't you, Paul? I listened to a guy named Dame Drops. And I don't know if you know his channel, Dame Drops, and he does food reviews. He started, I think, about 14 years ago. And he would sit in his car and he would buy a burger at McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever it is, and he would critique the burger or the fries or the drink or whatever it was. And he grew and grew and grew. He's very animated. Look him up, Dame Drops, DaymDrops. Very interesting guy. He became so popular that Popeyes hired him to be in some of their commercials, as did Burger King. He got into their commercials. He opened a small restaurant in Connecticut. Then he opened a food stand at the big stadium there. This is all from doing food reviews on YouTube. And he just announced the other day he's now got a television show with Netflix. And it's called Fried, Fresh, and Fantastic or something like that with Dame Drops, where he goes around to different restaurants and critiques their food and talks to them. He got all of that because he's an ethical person. He worked hard and he spent years doing videos on YouTube. So yeah, I want to grow the YouTube channel, want to do it right, want to help you guys out. And I'm getting a little long-winded today, but check out some of those people. Be patient, JR. You're going to get the 57 subs. I hope so. Man, it would be terrible to stop here, wouldn't it? That'd be awful. I think I'm going to get it. Guys, you have a great day. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate each and every one of you, your input, your questions, and the fact that you subscribe and listen to me. Man, that's just awesome. I really do like that a lot. You guys have an awesome day. I'm going to get out of here. I got to get ready for lunch.